Hey, this is Aaron Price, the CEO of TechUnited New Jersey, back for another Ask Member Anything. Today with Rachel Lubavitsky, the CEO and founder of Everything Benefits. Rachel, thanks for joining us. How you doing?
Very, very good. It's my pleasure. Thanks, Aaron.
Appreciate it. So first, let's start with where are you? I'm physically in Hoboken today. Where are you?
I'm in Long Hill, New Jersey.
Nice. Where did you grow up?
Oh, I actually grew up in the Bronx and then went to college for my undergrad in computer science in Waltham, Massachusetts, and then came back and settled down in New Jersey.
Nice. Well, we're happy to have you here. Can you tell people what Everything Benefits is and why did you start this company?
Sure. Everything Benefits is a benefits technology company that helps streamline benefits experience for employees and employers. And my partners and I started the company because we looked at we are benefits technology, we are technology entrepreneurs. So we looked around and saw, okay, what still hasn't been solved or fixed? And we saw that benefits is a tremendous green field in terms of just how painful the experience is for everybody who is participating and how much can be made done to make it better.
So what kinds of benefits are you thinking about when specifically what kinds of benefits do people take advantage of?
Well, predominantly, when you look at the employer and employee spectrum of benefits, those are your standard medical, dental, vision, life, ancillary. And as we've been around for a few years, we noticed that spectrum of benefits has continued to increase. Now you have pet insurance and tuition reimbursement and loan repayments and identity theft protection. So benefits are continuing to increase. So there is a lot more in it.
How do you find, this seems like a very complicated industry. So how do you find a differentiation or differentiating edge to your competitors?
Sure, good question. Straight to the point, huh? Some of the biggest challenges we would see in benefits are the fact that there are just so many players. You have employers, you have employees, you have benefits providers, you have brokers, you have HR providers that are really kind of a home solutions for employers that are using these. And so there's a lot of players in the picture, lots of information flowing through. A lot of it is very sensitive, having to do with people's health. And so communications is one of the biggest differentiators. Everything Benefits works with many HR, payroll, ERP, PEO providers to really connect with employers at the source. We also work with over 600 different benefits carriers to then be able to communicate information outward. So one differentiator is our connection, many points of connections to the different players in the industry. Second one is the fact that we are been around, been watching that space for some time. And so we realized that there's a lot of challenges, but you don't want to necessarily solve all of them in one shot. Sometimes it's the problem with enrollment, benefits enrollment, sometimes with corporate administration, sometimes with the benefits cost transparency. And so while Everything Benefits is a multi-point solution, we have 10 products today in benefit spectrum. We don't require our customers to purchase all of them. We want to really align the right solutions with the right challenges. And so customers are able to pick whatever really fits the gaps, the challenges that they're looking to solve. So that's probably number two. And number three, we've been a technology player for a long time, and we really are observing that sadly benefits is a kind of a laggard as far as the beauty, the simplicity, the intuitiveness of the benefits experience. And so we sought out to make it as simple, as intuitive as we possibly can. And so that's probably the third of our differentiators.
So we use Insperity at TechUnited, and it comes along with a variety of benefits. I'm assuming you're not a PEO, correct?
Correct. We work with PEOs, but we're not a PEO.
So if we used the QuickBooks payroll system, right? Because they have their own, there's a lot of entrepreneurs who use those simple kinds of services, or Wave. I'm not sure what you integrate with, but let's say it's DIY, but a small business wants to offer benefits. Do you plug in directly with some of those kinds of tools?
Correct, exactly. And so with many of our relationships, for example, NetSuite, which is something similar to QuickBooks, we are plugged into that experience. So as far as your benefits, you can seamlessly transition to Everything Benefits, do everything that needs to be done, and go back to NetSuite. And then all the data will sync behind the scenes automatically. So you're able to have a more holistic and complete experience without having to go to multiple systems, sync the data manually. So it's a little bit more intuitive and more streamlined.
So for someone like us, like I said, we use Insperity, so it's a one-stop shopping experience. If we were to work, let's say, if we did NetSuite, and then it sounds like what you're describing is almost like an upgrade or a bolt-on to be able to enable Everything Benefits. First of all, if I use NetSuite, would I know that the benefits came from Everything Benefits, or would it look like NetSuite just now offers benefits?
It will look exactly like NetSuite. So it's very important to have the same consistent experience. You don't want to be learning multiple systems. You got enough to do in the course of the day. So it will look and feel exactly like NetSuite. And NetSuite is actually an ERP, enterprise resource planning solution. So we started out working with companies like Kronos and iSolved and ADP, kind of a pure play HCM, and transitioned into PEO companies like Prism, Workleo, and ERP has been our latest challenge, and a very exciting one, because in addition to obviously solving some of the benefits challenges, what we are particularly excited about is benefits is the second largest cost driver for companies. After payroll, nothing else is more expensive than benefits. And so plugging into ERP, companies provides ability for us to share some of that information, export, and make that part of the complete accounting reporting and analytics. So you have a much more accurate read on how much those benefits are costing you, and what is the ROI in terms of employee engagement, retention, and those other things.
So, I mean, as you're talking, I'm thinking about exactly that cost issue. And I'm also making this assumption that all benefits are the same. And I'm guessing you would not agree with that assumption. Like how, you mentioned 600 providers of services, I believe you said.
Correct.
How do your actual benefits differ? And maybe, why are they better?
So we're not an insurance carrier or a broker. So we provide ability for enrolling into benefits once those selections are made. So as such, we work with over 10,000 corporate customers, so 10,000 employers who select benefits with the assistance of their broker for their employees. And those benefits vary. As I mentioned before, in the past several years, we had seen lots of new interesting ones. Telemedicine is huge. Mental health is another one, especially this year. And really, the focus is starting to be not so much on just offering those benefits, is at trying to align as to, here's my demographic, here's my team, what benefits are more impactful to them. If you have a lot of baby boomers on staff, you won't necessarily get a lot of engagement by offering tuition reimbursement to that ecosystem, not necessarily, right? So understanding your target audience for HR administrator and trying to cater to them is some of the trends that we are starting to see. It's not just, let's just give them all the benefits. It's, let's figure out what they're using, what they need, and what we want our company to be. So let's just say you have a lot of millennials and you want to diversify your team, and you want to bring in a lot of different other age groups. You might want to look at benefits as the way of really creating the team that's attractive to different people in different stages of their careers.
I have pet insurance that I did redeem through TechUnited's provider. What are some of the more unusual benefits that you see pop up?
Oh, this year has been a really interesting to observe some of the things that are happening. So we are starting to see a shift from benefits that are kind of more, gym related benefits. So instead of supporting gym membership, we are starting to see employers offer things like remote, yoga sessions or meditation sessions. So benefits that allow employees to, take into account the fact that many of them are remote, like probably you and I are, and help them better support themselves in their new setting. The other one is remote instruction. So things like OutSchool, which is a really great resource for children from 3 to 18. A lot of parents are now tackling having to work from home and also be the teacher, the instructor, the nanny, and everything else to their kids. So that provides a little bit, it helps lower the burden of really being there at all times during business hours for the parents.
What was the name of that service, though? You broke up for me just for that when you mentioned the name of the tool.
OutSchool.
OutSchool, got it.
Mm-hmm. So that's
and so do people come to you and say, we'd like to provide this benefit, and then you go source it, or are you constantly looking for creative ways that you can offer different benefits?
So we are monitoring the trends at all times. We're seeing some of the innovative things that a lot of employers are doing, and we're sharing that through the blogs and other thought leadership. We are also inviting our customers to comment on that, what has been particularly, working well for their ecosystem. One of our customers, Diamonds Direct, is offering COVID testing on site. So that's pretty innovative. It's really in line with times that when you come into work, you're okay and everybody around you is okay as well. So it gives you a lot of peace of mind so you can focus on your work. So those are some of the ideas that get shared with us regularly, and we try to share with the rest of our client community and kind of a broader business space.
Is anyone doing COVID testing at home?
As far as
as a benefit?
Yes. So companies are offering that as a benefit in order to give employees a better peace of mind that they are okay, and whoever else in their households are okay as well.
I'm so curious of the dynamic here, right? Like let's use that example of COVID testing either at the office or at home. Once you determine this is something we Everything Benefits would like to bring to our customers, how do you explain to me the process of sourcing the solution and then figuring out the pricing structure so that so that you can build the benefit into the system?
So for us, because we are not really the entity that helps select those benefits, we can provide best practices as to what really works out well. They would typically work with their broker or their insurance carrier to bring these benefits to the team to do the cost analysis. In our case, what we would do is build a technology bridge with the service provider, like a benefits carrier, to help facilitate communication of enrollment information. So we got 10 people enrolling. Let's make sure that the premium and the amounts are working their way to the carrier, as well as the list of the people who are enrolled. So we're helping facilitate a lot of the back office analytics around it, and the data movement and the money movement.
Yeah. So I think I described it incorrectly. You're saying that the sort of the food chain here is that people work with the broker first. The broker sources from their own network the benefits. Your service helps them administer those benefits. Is that correct?
Exactly.
And leverages technology to make that a more efficient process.
Yes, exactly.
Got it. And so they would say, we've decided to add this COVID test. Can you work this into the platform so people can redeem it as a benefit? Is that right?
Exactly. Yes. And you can keep track who's using it, how many times, whether you need to broaden this and offer more.
Got it. Interesting. So let's switch gears and talk a little bit about building this business, because I know you're a serial entrepreneur. You said you looked at areas with opportunity, but what was it like? You started this company, is that 6 years ago? Is that right?
Yes.
So explain to me, what was that first year like?
The first year was really laying a lot of the foundation into what the platform is going to do, how is it going to work, what the endpoints are. The first year was probably more heavier spent into sort of building the foundation. And it's probably a little different than other entrepreneurs. because in our case, this is the third venture for my partners and I. And so we know that you got to start with building the foundation for what you're looking to deploy, how it's going to work, who your target audiences are going to be. So a lot of the legwork is being done upfront when you start. I think a lot of the entrepreneurs maybe start by putting something out there, maybe the first prototype, seeing how the ecosystem resonates, and then modifying it again and again, iterating on that again and again until you kind of have a viable prototype, and then you go back and build the foundation. In our case, we had a little bit better understanding from having observed the industry for a long time that this is a particularly broken piece. Communication of the information. We started with the first product that was called carrier connectivity. So communicating enrollment information from many of our partners in the HCM space to the benefits providers. So that part was really broken because there are many, many standards. There are many, many players. We work with 600 of them, and there's many more than that. So understanding the language that the benefits carriers speak and being able to communicate in a seamless way with all of them, taking that burden away from the HR payroll entities that previously had to do this manually on the carrier sites.
You mentioned HCM. What's HCM?
Oh, sorry, human capital management.
I just wanted to make sure for those of us who may not be as familiar. You also skipped over what I think was a really important detail, which is you understood the space really well. How did you understand the space so well?
Well, our prior venture was in the human capital management space. We had built and operated a human capital management platform that consisted of payroll, HR, timekeeping, and scheduling. So a lot of the topics that we got into when we got onto the Everything Benefits side is something that we've been exposed to for many years. We had observed, and we saw that this is a challenge that still needs to be fixed.
Yeah. And you also talked about having partners. So how many partners do you have with this? I mean, founding partners.
My two co-founders are two technology professionals, Daniel Fishstein and Dmitry Korsunski. So we've been together for over 20 years now.
That's a long time. So we got to dig into what has, a lot of co-founders have serious problems with one another, and some of them break up. And so what have been some of the keys to success in working with your co-founders?
I think it's a lot of the appreciation of our specialized domains that we focus on. My two tech co-founders really dig into the technology itself, how it operates, technology infrastructure, networking, and all that, while I traditionally focused on the business side. So we have mutual respect and admiration for each other's paths and areas of responsibility, and that had allowed us to really focus on what needs to be done and stay connected constantly to really brainstorm and get perspective from each other on how we could do our job better.
Did you sit down at some point and have like a heart-to-heart about this is how roles and responsibilities will go, or had you already had that experience with one another, so this went smoothly? I'm thinking about advice for entrepreneurs, especially with first-time entrepreneurs working with co-founders. What advice would you give them in having an effective co-founder relationship?
Get the expectations out up front. What do you expect out of the relationship? It's almost like a marriage, right?
I wouldn't say almost.
Also, yeah. You have to have a lot of trust for each other, and you have to kind of let them do their job, and you have to understand what they're hoping to get out of it, and whether there is a good alignment for what you hope to get out of it. And once you get that together, you have to continuously, it's like any relationship, it requires constant support or confirmation, because we all change in the course of this journey. Every one of us changes in different ways. We grow in our respective areas. And so making sure that you come back and reconfirm that the goals are still the same and expectations are still the same helps you stay together.
How have you navigated any conflict that's come up with some of your co-founders?
I think, being willing to compromise, being willing to see the big picture, and sometimes you have to let each other win. As much as, you want to make the right, you hope you're making the right decision, you think yours is necessarily the right one. Sometimes it's okay to make mistakes. And it's more important to let people feel respected and let whatever seems to be the best course of action based on their perception move forward, rather than to necessarily push your point of view. So it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to let people have their say. It's part of being able to compromise and jointly come to the right decision. So you can try something and see that it may not be the right thing. You can pivot quickly and take a better path.
How has the pandemic affected the business? I think you have over 90 employees. How have you managed the business over the last 6+ months?
It's been, we have our daily connect every day at 8:30, and I always keep saying, hey guys, thank you. You are amazing. You are resilient. You really are thinking about our customers' needs way more often than about yours. But as far as logistically, we had always operated as a business that can go remote at any time. So even though we have an office in New Providence, New Jersey, conceptually everybody has laptops. Ours is a cloud-based solution. Our company data lives in a cloud. Our virtual phone system doesn't require an actual big phones. So we've always operated in a remote-ready fashion. So when the time came on March 13th, we said, okay, guys, we'll see you. We'll see you soon. And
we hope.
We haven't seen in person for a number of months, but we've gone remote. And the team has done really amazing, really, staying connected, staying together, and doing, I would say, a lot more than we've ever had as a company.
Do you use anything like Slack or Teams or any practical productivity tips that you would recommend for people with teams remotely and how to manage?
So everybody has Zoom. And we have a water cooler Zoom meeting in case you want to come up and chat with someone.
Is that open all day?
It's open all day. We also have Skype, and we have many groups on Skype. Different departments and teams have that. We are experimenting with various things. We did a joint yoga session a couple of weeks ago as part of the Mental Health Month, and everybody liked it, so we're probably going to do it again. We play Kahoot to get to know one another better and to kind of talk about what are some of the commonalities and the music that we like and the food that we like to eat. Friday, a half-hour drinks. So we do a lot of things to keep the team together, and that's been great.
Yeah, we did we've done a scavenger hunt. We do weekly happy hours. We hosted with Propelify some daily exercise and cooking classes, which was fun, but it certainly presents some unique challenges. What have you experienced with TechUnited, and what more could we be doing to be supportive to you and to the other organizations around the region?
I'm very excited about the joining, and I'm sure everybody tells you that this is really cool. The biggest tech meetup in New Jersey, joining forces with New Jersey Tech Council. This is the perfect marriage. So it's really exciting. I think both organizations have been working very, very hard to support entrepreneurs and technology companies in New Jersey, and joining forces would really help you guys really maximize it and centralize it and make the best usage of the resources that you have available. So I'm super excited about the new TechUnited New Jersey. This is really cool.
That's good. I appreciate hearing that. I'm sure you know this. The meetup itself didn't merge. Propelify, was acquired by the New Jersey Tech Council, but certainly the history and so much of my own personal background with the New Jersey Tech Meetup comes along into what is now TechUnited, and not everyone tells me how excited they are, but there's good positive energy, and I think people are excited about the direction that we're going as a community overall. I think my goal has been to raise the bar of what we're up to create more awareness, and New Jersey often gets lost in the dialogue, and I've been really pleased to see us reclaim a place in the dialogue that I think is rightfully ours. So I appreciate that feedback. Is there more you'd like to see out of us? We are literally at this moment in the planning stages for 2021. And if you could wave a magic wand and see the organization do something additionally, differently, is there anything that you would recommend that we think about in our 2021 plan?
Well, I think as far as showcasing more of the technology companies in New Jersey and bringing more awareness of us to each other would be great. I think we met phone.com at one of your meetups, and
Yeah,
these guys
good. Ari's a good guy.
had been providing our phone services for years. This is part of the virtual phone scheme that we had. So having more awareness of the New Jersey players that could help other technology companies and entrepreneurs to get off the ground, I think that would be one of the coolest things you guys could do.
That's good to hear. I mean, obviously, driving connectivity and networking, this is a main mission of what we have as an organization. And so I'm glad to hear you found some connection with Ari there. What would you tell people, especially now, when people are reconsidering their New York City footprint and the benefits of an urban environment? What have you found to be some of the benefits of working, in New Jersey?
Oh, I think the community is relatively untapped, and there's a lot of New Jerseyans who had been commuting to the city that now relishing the opportunity to save that transit time and do something more meaningful with their life. A lot of untapped potential, New Jersey potential, and also some of the urban potential that's kind of moving our way and starting to settle down in New Jersey. So I think we are on to building maybe one of the largest tech communities. It is going to be the largest tech communities on the East Coast, right, Aaron?
We think, I think the largest actually, but yes, one of the largest for sure. I absolutely. Before we wrap up, just so people can get to know you a little bit. I understand you're into this painting style, or at least used to be. And I'm really curious about what that is. I think you're an avid biker, but tell me about this painting technique.
I try different things. I like the Japanese inks and ink blots painting. You have to be it requires a lot of control. I can't say I'm still a student and will be one for a long time. But as far as always thinking about a better work-life balance and finding things that engage you and give you enjoyment at work and also outside of work and with your family. This I found to be really, really enjoyable to do those little, trees and bamboo and grasses using the ink. So yeah, really.
Do you do this with your family?
Yes, I have 2 daughters, so they enjoy painting as well.
How old are your daughters?
14 and 11.
So I have the same spread at 10 and 7 right now. You have any advice for me?
Well, I would say that we've been learning awesome things from Outschool. Both girls.
Which is an Everything Benefits potential solution.
Actually, it's a company sponsored benefit. Our employees are able to get reimbursement for using Outschool. And it's not exactly the school program, but it's really interesting, fun enrichment that is delivered by really passionate experts in their fields. There's academic ones, but there are also lots of fun ones. And my younger daughter is learning card tricks from that, and hours of fun to the family. And
wow.
When she takes that on the road here.
That's very cool. What about as far as being a teenager goes? Is there anything I need to be worried about?
I don't know yet. We just started on that.
Just got there.
So far, so good.
So that's good to hear. Well, we really appreciate your involvement with TechUnited New Jersey. It's amazing to hear everything you've been up to. And like I've said, the goal of these things is to create awareness in the community. And that's exactly what we're doing here. For people who are interested, check out EverythingBenefits.com. And as you know, this community, I've always been about this idea that we are a community of people who it's a two-way street. We try to help one another out and also look to be helped. So what is something that you need help with?
Oh, awesome. Didn't think about that one.
And we can skip the obvious, which is like, if you know companies, well, I'll give you 2 chances here, because I would have asked your target customer, and I want to make sure people understand who should reach out if they're interested in the service. But I also want a more interesting, how can they help you? But on the sales side, what's the target customer? Who should people introduce you to if they know in their network?
So we work with companies that range in size from 10 employees to tens of thousands of employees. We really focus on targeting companies between 500 to 10K, but we find that our solutions resonate to a much wider spectrum. So we're happy to entertain relationships with those companies. And as far as actually answering your question, here's an obvious answer. The reason we are who we are, and we started out with just trying to solve one problem. Oh, looks like connectivity is not working. Ultimately, we ended up having 10 solutions because of our customers who came to us and said, well, thank you for solving this challenge. I have this one. Help me out there. So if you have, or the folks who are listening to this program have questions or comments and would like to see it done better, or they have ideas, come talk to us. It may already be solved. Somebody else might have already solved it, or it might be a new challenge that we should all get together and start working on.
Awesome. I really appreciate that. If you watched any of the Propellify experience, you know that I like to end with a virtual high five. So if you'll high five the camera on the count of 3, 1, 2, 3, boom. Awesome. Rachel Lubavitsky, the CEO and co-founder of Everything Benefits. Thank you so much for being with us today. I really appreciate it.
It's my pleasure. Thank you, Aaron.
Take care.